Welcome, viewers, to another episode of It Depends podcast. I've returned after quite a break to my favorite topic, which is data governance. In the time that I've been busy, generative AI has taken our mind share, and so much new developments have been taking place this year. The space of data governance has been evolving by leaps and bounds. So, to understand what's going on in this space, I turned to my old friend, Sharad Varshney. We met first time at Gartner Data and Analytics Summit almost 5 to 6 years ago, when he was quietly building out his product and his company, which is called OvalEdge. Today, OvalEdge is one of the big contenders amongst the data governance companies and products. So I would love to welcome Sharad. Thank you for joining this podcast. So great to have you on it.
Thank you, Sanjeev, and always love to have a conversation with you. I hope it will be a fun conversation.
Yes, absolutely. So looking to you to understand what's going on. Before that, would you mind taking a few minutes and introduce your background and where all have you worked in the past?
Sure. So before I started OvalEdge, I was working and a big data architect at Hortonworks, slash now it's Cloudera. At that time, before that, I was kind of graduated from IIT Kanpur in nuclear engineering, and I was working for a lot of nuclear utilities companies to establish their processes around maintenance management. But that was like more of like process consulting work. And then I moved to the data field through Hortonworks. That time, when I moved to the data field, I realized that everybody is trying to move their data to one ecosystem. And frankly speaking, I have consulted probably more than 35 different companies. And out of them, 30 companies have no idea what they want to do after moving the data to data lake. I saw the word data lake in front of me at AT&T. They were forming that name. Somebody started this name. And that basically gave me that there is more needed to be done, because if you put everything in data lake, nothing is going to happen. You need things to organize. You need to organize this data properly. So we started building the platform at that time, and the data catalog becomes obvious that this should be the data catalog. And then after that, people were like, no, we need to do the data governance using the data catalog. And then we started building the data governance platform from there. So I think it's an evolve happened because of the need, but identify that they need to do something with the data. So they need to discover the data, but the discovering of the data is needed for multiple things. It needed for data governance, it needs for data analytics, it needs for maintaining the data quality, it needs for multiple things. So that's what the need, and that's where we are progressing to building the platform.
So Sharad, why is your product called OvalEdge?
That's a good name. So the oval actually do not have any edge. And when you create an edge on oval, the life begins. And so the idea is that, like a breaking of egg. So that's, the life begins when oval have any edge to it. So that's the purpose of the OvalEdge's, and of course the domain name is available.
I see.
Yeah, and then the idea is that data analytics is like this, that data actually do not have any value by itself. You have to create the value into it, and that's what the OvalEdge is about: creating the value into the data.
So congratulations. OvalEdge started in 2013. 10 years have gone by.
Yeah.
At Hortonworks, I remember those days when Hortonworks was also getting into data catalog space to some extent. I know there was DSS. There were a few products that were coming out. How was data catalog space then compared to now?
I think at that time it was crowded, and even now it's crowded.
Okay.
Because it takes a very little to create the data catalog. You put all the metadata into a spreadsheet, you can call it data catalog. It's very simple to create as well as very complex to create. Like, for example, we have 125 connectors to bring data from SQL Server, Oracle, blah, 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 different kind of application, reporting system, so many things. So it have to be comprehensive. So that's what the market is looking for. But every company can say that, oh, I have a connector to Oracle, and then they can say that, oh, I have a data catalog, because it's a foundation for solving many problems. That kind of market have realized that this problem need to be solved by creating a data catalog first, and then solving other problems. So that is why you see a lot of companies say the data catalog on their product brochure or something. But how comprehensive it is, this is where it comes down to. So even at that time, there are a variety of companies. Some companies I know have already been dead by now. Some companies have evolved quite a bit. So it's the evolution of the market. But it was big and confusing earlier. Even the market is still confusing at this point of time as well. Equally confusing.
Oh, wow. I want to dig deeper into that, because I once made a statement that data catalogs have existential crisis. I wrote it in one of my papers, but then I started thinking about it. I'm like, no, it's not existential. You do need a data catalog. I think it's an identity crisis. Like, for example, what is it? Is OvalEdge a data catalog? Is it a data governance platform? Some people are moving away from these terms and saying, no, it's data intelligence, it's data enablement, or Gartner used to call it metadata management a few years ago. What do you call OvalEdge? What is it?
So we call it data governance platform, and there is a specific reason for it.
Okay.
People actually want to solve data governance problem, right? If you ask anybody that, hey, what kind of problems you have, they say, no, we have a data governance problem. Right? Problem has been identified as a data governance problem, and the solution to that is data governance platform. Now, why people are calling it data intelligence platform? Because they realize that the most of the companies have not solved data governance problem, and then they're saying, no, let's pivot it to we will rename it, and then we will confuse the market. So everybody is started to confuse the market by creating a new word into this industry. And I can bring 50 words. You probably can name 100 words, which has been coming into the same industry. And the recipe for every industry is everything is the same. They need the data. They want to solve the data governance problem, which is comprehensive, which is by making the data understand what it is, making sure that business can understand what it is. They can trust it. Like nobody complains that, hey, there is data is wrong on my balance sheet. Nobody says that. You trust balance sheet coming out of any kind of company, right? You trust it without any, and then you make millions and billions of dollar trade decisions based on that balance sheet income statement. Yeah. But can you really be confident about the project management report you got it last week? Are you really confident the number of bugs that reported in that is accurately reported there? Are you really sure that the supply chain information which you are getting, which you are trying to optimize, are representing the right KPIs and metrics? Are you really sure about the marketing information, the ratio of the conversion ratios are really correct, and you are making millions of dollars advertising decisions on it? They're definitely not correct. There's some indicatory, but they're definitely not correct. And somebody, if comes new to the company, they will never going to understand what exactly it is. So that is why it takes them a long time to understand it. It takes a long time to trust the data, and everybody says the data sucks. Data is not giving the right value because you do not have data governance processes established. It's there in balance sheet. The data governance processes has been established in balance sheet, but has not been established in other critical data elements into it.
Got it. So I have a slightly different opinion. If I ask a business person, what do you want from your data? I don't know if they'll use the term governance, because and to me that's a term that we use a lot. So there would be, I think what you said, they want to be able to understand the data, They want to trust the data. They expect it to be high quality. I think security is another one.
Yeah,
right?
access of the data is a key part of data governance. So when Satya Nadella talks on Microsoft stage, when he talks about data governance, he really means security. Security and accessibility of the data, as well as compliances related to the privacy compliance, etc. But this is really meant by it. He will take the word data governance, but this is what he really meant by it. When the CDO summit you will go next week, when they will talk about, they will really be talking about the trust of the data, that whether the metadata is high quality, whether the quality of the data is good in terms of when they talk about data governance. So I generally consider as a 3 pillar of data governance: data literacy, data quality, and data access. And then in those 3 pillars, you need to be so it's very simple. You should be able to access the data. When you access the data, you should be able to understand. So it's like metadata, quality of the metadata, which is comes under data literacy. And the data quality is that whatever the numbers reported there, they're accurate. They does not have any deflections. They really have the value which metadata defines. That's what the quality is. And now bringing those 3 pillars of the data and then combining it together, that means should I have access to the balance sheet or not, right? That is the one thing. I can have balance sheet on the reporting day, but not before that. Otherwise, there's so many problems can happen. The same data can have access tomorrow, but not today. So those are the access conditions, the quality of the data, and the data. So the 3 pillars of the data governance, how I define that.
I love this. So we now have defined it for this call, at least: literacy, quality, and access. So those are the 3 pillars. One misconception that I hear quite a bit is that data catalogs are dead, data catalogs are static in nature, and they're not really a category. They shouldn't even be standalone because everybody needs a catalog. It should be embedded. So I've said a lot of things. What are your views on these misconceptions?
So I think that it should be embedded into data governance platform. It can be embedded into some sort of ETL tools as well. So for example, if you are looking for data governance platform, it needs to be able to have the catalog from source system, applications, ETLs, data warehouses, reporting systems, AI, machine learning, everything needs to be there, because data in the reporting layer might be coming from somewhere source system, right? So it needs everything. While if you look from the data, if you're looking from analytics perspective, if you want to really build it, you need a data catalog only for the data lake, for example. If you have a data catalog because you are creating analytics on data lake, you can create the analytics for it. And the user experience for that is different than user experience for data governance platform. So data catalog is an essential need, but its purpose is different. When the purpose is different, the user interface is different, and the needs are different. So for data, what we are really designing is for business need, for data governance, because data governance really talk about the business ability to see it. That is the real need. Yes, there is a need for data scientists of the data catalog. There is a need for other people as well. They can use our product as well, but the where you are defining your strategy, and that's where we are defining our strategy to be the data governance platform.
Okay. This has been another revelation. So first, the 3 pillars. So what you're saying is that the data catalog are essential, but the data catalog can have different views, interfaces, depending upon which persona wants it. An analytical user may want to see some aspect of it. A data engineer should also be using the catalog, but for different needs. But the catalog is sitting underneath the surface with different views, interfaces for different personas.
Exactly. I would say that let's take customers record. Customer record do exist in CRM, different interface, different needs. Customer information also exists in financial system to cut the invoicing, different interface, different things. Yes, CRM needs more detail than invoicing. You want to send emails, you want to see campaign, and the CRM needs more kind of features and functions. In the invoicing, yes, it need to be more authentic, it need to be correct, the address need to be correct, and all those things. Different need, different function. Same thing with the data catalog. Now you say, oh, okay, the customer record should not exist standalone. No, the customer record can exist standalone as well. Otherwise, you will have problems about the problems in the sense that if your customer's record is centralized, it's much better managed that way, right? So if the data catalog is also centralized and you can use it for multiple needs, it's good. But if you can also have it separate, that is also okay, right? You have to make sure they are compatible. Just like many companies have multiple customer records, they're still surviving. They are not, but some companies who have created a golden record of customer, they only look up into that every time. The quality of the customer data is better, and they serve their each, the CRM serves better, the financial systems serve better to that customer. Same thing goes with the data catalog. Is essential. The data catalog is essential to solve data governance problem, it solve a data analytics problem, etc., etc. So that is why the again, I'm giving the analogy with the customer record. It's kind of the same way the
So
data catalog is.
yeah, I mean, just like you have golden customer records or customer record you can trust. Same thing for metadata. You should have this.
Metadata.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, same idea. The question I have is, when you are out there selling the data catalog, OvalEdge, who are your primary customers? And where I'm going with this is because I have this theory that data engineers don't really use a catalog, but if they did, then we would not have a mismatch between data producers and consumers if everybody used the same catalog. In my opinion, a lot of catalogs that were originally built, like let's say Alation, for instance, which gave the term data catalog, it was built for the consumers. But what is your experience today? Is it only consumers? Is it also data engineers?
So, like Alation build it for mostly for their user, which is data engineer and data scientist. We are building for data governance user, which is data steward, data business users who is consuming the end report, we call it data assets. We are, that's the difference. Now, as I say that, what is the difference? The difference is very direct. Just like if you think from the customer perspective, we are looking. The data governance people are looking for more need for like financial people are looking for more invoicing point of view, while the CRM is looking for email campaign, etc. They're looking for same customer records, right? So why the data governance is, why the engineers do not use it. I will give you the very simple reason. Because engineers already have access to the data directly, and they are more close to data. They understand, they know everything, right? And while the business people do not have access to the raw data for sure, so they are looking for more of the data catalog. They need more catalog than business user, than the data engineers need. Because the data engineer can go to the Oracle table and they can look at the by themselves. And they can directly query why they need to go to the data catalog. So that is why they are not going there. The reason is direct. So that is why OvalEdge actually go and integrates with the Snowflakes and Oracles and SQL Server and build the description there properly. So these people can also take advantage of the right description, right business description, right information, the curated metadata catalog. That's why it is important for business users to, and the data engineers to have the right information, the business information to it. I think that is the primary reason that why the data engineers do not use data catalog, but it should not be even designed for them. It should be designed for the, like if I already using a data for a specific need, it's very difficult for me to use otherwise. That's why we have designed for business need and data stewards who do not have access to the data at all.
Got it. And no question about it. Data consumers should be the primary consumers of the data in the catalog. I have another theory. I feel that data engineers have done a bit of a disservice to themselves because, yes, they have access to data, but they do not understand data like a business user does. How would they know? Like, and I've been a data engineer, so I can speak for myself. If I have access to all my corporate data, which first of all, I should not, but assume for a second that I do. and I'm looking to build a clinical trial application. I have access to clinical trial. It's got all these codes in it. I don't know what it means. To me, it's just data because I'm not a subject matter expert. That information should come from a catalog. So in my opinion, even a data engineer should use a catalog that describes what the context of the data. And this is because they don't have that knowledge, and now they're getting bottlenecked with more and more requests. This is why we have this move towards either data mesh or some decentralized way, so you can move these data engineers close to the business. Any thoughts on that?
I think it is very difficult for data engineers to go away from data.
Yeah.
So because they have been there, you
Yeah.
have to enforce that information back to them.
Correct.
And that's what at OvalEdge we try to do. OvalEdge, I think we do not. The one thing is that OvalEdge we want to keep away from the buzzwords, because the buzzwords comes and go. And what we want to be very specific, we solve the specific problem. So as you say that the data engineer are dealing with the data, let's say Snowflake, big partner of ours, right? So if Snowflake is doing, if an engineer is working on Snowflake and trying to do it, it is very difficult for him to go to the data catalog to try to do something when he's building the report. So at that time, the data catalog need to come to Snowflake. The description, the business information need to come to Snowflake. And they say, oh, okay, this information is available on this. So data should not go, but the data catalog should come to there. But when they want to see more details, with a click, they should be able to go to the catalog to see more details. So the integration have to be the interoperable. That's how its need is there. Otherwise, very difficult to go to another system and then figuring out that. But let's say the business want to see the customer lifetime value. They don't know where in the Snowflake table it is. So they go to the data catalog, they find it. From there, they go to the data Snowflake and they see this is where exactly it is, or it is in Tableau, or in Power BI, or wherever it is. That's where the interfaces are different that way.
So this is my third revelation. I should be writing down these notes. These are great. So I'm on a discovery. I had no idea we will be discussing all of these things going in. But what I'm hearing is that the business consumer goes to the catalog and requests or discovers all this information. So it's a pull model. So the pull model works for the data consumers, but to bring data engineers into the realm of data catalog, it has to be a push model.
Yes, it have to be push model. Again, it's that like Google, for example, when you search Google, why did the Google build this Chrome and then will build that little thing, and the browser? Like first the Chrome browser was not there, then and Interscape, Netscape as well there. They build a little widget you can search on the browser wherever you are, and it goes to go it. So you have to go to the user. So those are the various things you have to, as a data catalog provider, we are doing to kind of bring everything to them. This is kind of a push model, a pull model, whatever you can call it.
Yeah. I've seen there are, like, for example, data catalogs, or actually they don't call them the data catalogs, but same metadata where they're embedded into Slack, into Chrome browser. And so that way, like you said, it's just one click and you get the information from the catalog.
Yeah, so we have like we have Chrome plugins where for example, if you open a report from Tableau, and let's say that we at the catalog we realize this Chrome this report is not highly trusted because of all the governance framework does. The plugin will pop up automatically and tell the customer, hey, you're looking at the report which has been marked as caution, so better look at caution with this information in mind. So you are looking and making $1 million decision to buy a security, let's say bank, and suddenly they will say that, hey, look at this information a little bit carefully, and these are the data quality issues has been identified here.
Okay.
As a business user, it's very, very valuable information to you. And otherwise, why would the business user go to the data catalog, see whether this information is valuable and look into this? Because that's not how we'll do it. They will just go to the report of the business or whatever that they want to do it, the supply chain optimization or whatever, they will go and make the decision. But at that time, the catalog pushed that information to us. Hey, this information is caution about it, or these are the details you can further consider. So that's the push model I would consider. But mostly we are working on the reporting side and BI side, more and more of this push model, while the pull model is always there.
Right. Oh, very nice. Okay. 2 weeks ago, we had this 1 week, you were at Snowflake Summit and
Yes.
I saw you there. And then I went over to Databricks Data and AI Summit. Unity Catalog became sort of the linchpin into Databricks Lakehouse strategy. Have you been looking at Unity Catalog? Like, I'm just curious. What
So
are
we
your...
integrate with Unity Catalog natively. And I think that the one thing, Databricks did a little bit disservice to their customer by creating a Unity Catalog. Again, confusing the market, right? Again, I want to be open here. The thing is that, like, Snowflake did not do this. Snowflake said, these are my security features, these are the things out there. While if you create and confuse, because Unity Catalog remains only within the ecosystem of what the Databricks is, right? It's not a complete ecosystem. So that's where the thing is. While yes, we will integrate because OvalEdge is an enterprise data catalog, so it will integrate with Unity, it will integrate with Snowflake, integrate everywhere. But when you call this a catalog, it should be across. Otherwise, it's your only siloed. It's only related to Databricks ecosystem. But data goes out of Databricks ecosystem as well. It will do the Tableau. It will go to the Power BI. It will come from here. So it's all along the case. And that's where the marketing actually should be, comply with everything what is going on in the industry. Otherwise, it's just a buzzword again and the confusion.
Right. So I'm curious, what is your integration with Unity Catalog look like? Is it, are you importing data from there? Are you also exporting data? Is it bidirectional?
It's a bidirectional. So it's a bidirectional. We bring the metadata from Unity, we enhance it with the data governance processes, and then we push it back.
I see. What kind of data?
So every the data catalog, what the data governance platform does is establish the business processes to enhance the metadata, right? Because the metadata itself is you can type whatever you want, but the business processes should be in a manner that it should type the correct information there. So that is the business processes to establish the data governance processes. And then that is what we do it. And then we make sure that the data for example, in Databricks is coming from Oracle. So what you call it at Oracle, you should not call it differently in Databricks, right? So Unity, so the data, what's called in Oracle, what's you call in SAP, that all this information you can track through the lineage, you can figure out what is exactly in Unity, and then you can go further downstream and see there. And it's designed for and then it's again built for business users. While Unity Catalog is built primarily from compliance point of view, to make sure from the auditing point of view that, hey, if something went wrong, can I go to the catalog and see what went wrong? Or have somebody access to something where I have access to it. So that is the need. Again, the objective of that is the compliance to kind of what went wrong, while us is more about building the data-driven decisions, make sure that everything is up to date from the business perspective.
So the fact that Databricks has made such a big deal about Unity Catalog makes me wonder if in 2024 June, when we go to Snowflake Summit, if they are going to announce their own catalog. Just my thinking.
I think they will not. They are smarter in that space, and they understand that they are very focused in the partner ecosystem. They are very partner focused. So I think that they understand strategically. I think it is not good for Snowflake or for Databricks to come to the data governance space. If they want to come to data governance space, then come full blown into it. You cannot come with a tiny feature and say that as a big company.
Yeah, but
like for example, we don't want to go into the analytics space. because the same thing, it does not make sense because we are a data governance player. So everybody have to identify what is their player, what is where they want to play, and then they should go into that space. So I think they should not. I think the mistake, like a lot of companies also made it, but they kind of stayed there. Like Tableau started that Tableau catalog, Click started that Click catalog. Everybody started there, but then they realized that this is our limit. We should not go further upstream and then downstream to kind of figure out and mess out this environment. Because again, you need to keep it to your ecosystem. Otherwise, like for example, like Informatica, they create data catalog. They only have the connector to the ETL, but they have it. They cannot build for SSIS. They cannot build for the connector for, say, for example, other ETL systems because they are married to their ETL system. So their ecosystem remains weaker. That's why the governance platform have to be independent. Otherwise, they cannot do the service. That's the very simple player. Like strategically, that's a simple play. Otherwise, you will remain in your ecosystem.
I think ETL players have grown their catalogs to be enterprise. Like Talent, for instance, uses MITI, MITI connectors all over the place. I many years ago on the website, they had 900. I don't know how they were counting these connectors. But the point is still valid. The point is whether Snowflake comes out with a catalog or not, it will not replace the need for an enterprise-wide data catalog because data is not going to be in one place only. You would need to get metadata from an ETL engine, from BI, from Fivetrans of the world. So the entire ecosystem. So there is no competition. You still need an enterprise-wide data catalog, even if individual products may have their own.
Individual product, we actually always have the catalog. They don't used to call it catalog.
Yeah,
like if you go to Snowflake, you can still look up all the Snowflake tables, right? Yeah. If you go to the Tableau, you can look up all the Tableau reports. You can search reports, which report is there. That is the catalog of that, right? That is. But now suddenly you go to the Tableau and you can look at the Power BI report. That's not good for Tableau strategically, right? The same thing that's not strategically good for Power BI. Again, right? So that's the play is of the data. When we word data catalog, the catalog word comes from library. When hundreds of books are there, every book have its own index. But they don't call it catalog. So please don't call it catalog. But I'm asking everybody to don't call it catalog because you do not have that. It's a feature. It's an index basically of your tables. The catalog have a meaning to it.
Revelation number 4. If you're a product company, call it whatever you want, but you're not a catalog. You're a registry or an index, or data dictionary, like in Oracle days.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Exactly. Like people have data dictionary all the time, but they didn't have the catalog. Catalog word came from library, right? Where all the books are there. I put it there, and that's what the library is. So I think a lot of companies are making mistake. Again, it's just the buzzword and jargon, and people want to just jump to the buzzwords, but they do not have a strategically right understanding of the word catalog.
Talking about jargons, you mentioned earlier that you're not really that crazy about all these hyped up words like data mesh and all. At Databricks event, they announced Lakehouse Federation, which they call the data mesh, although some people debate and say that's not a data mesh, it's a data fabric. But whatever it is, it's a federation, and they use Unity Catalog. What is your view of data mesh in general, but data product in particular?
So I think I have a very specific, very strong view on it.
Okay.
The data, the data started from data as water. Then people started saying data as oil. Then people started saying data as asset. Then data product. But data is data. So data is not a oil because it's not oil. We know that, right? It is. Yeah, it has some property like oil. You can explore it. You can create value from it. It's not water. It's not asset because you can't put on a balance sheet. right? Every asset you can put on a balance sheet. It's not product because you cannot manage like a product. Product have a specific features in mind. It's not exactly product. Now treat data as data, please, and don't. And that's where it is happening is that it's a big enough entity by itself that should be treated by itself. It is imagine that I will treat software as a table. It doesn't work that way, or chair. No, software is software. It's a big enough entity by itself to treat as software. The same thing is the data is even bigger than software. I sometimes believe it need to be treated as data, and it need to be worked as data. That's the first thing from the jargon point of view. Now, from the point of view of the data mesh as a concept, the data data product as a concept, I'm still very because there is no success full implementation of data mesh yet. There's some people might be publishing, but the success is like when the waterfall become agile. That is the success which you want to see. There's no like you can say agile is successful now and waterfall is not in some of the software creation category. So in terms of the data, I don't think the data mesh is going to be having that success as a real success into it. Data need to be treated as data and need to be governed as governance, right? That's as simple as this. And these buzzwords will more and more buzzword will come. I'm pretty much sure. As soon as you will get a funding to another company, they will create a new buzzword and will say, we are a new category in this space. And that's why give me more funding. That's what is happening in the market space. But I still believe that data is data and need to be governed. And that's what it is. And need to be then value need to be created. And you need to solve this data governance problem rather than create a new buzzword called intelligence, put anything on top of it or below, behind it, and call it new category.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Although I won't debate with you about data products since I have just finished writing data products for dummies, which I'm hoping to launch at Big Data London in September. But let's put that topic aside and move on to the next topic. The burning question that I get from clients is we just don't know how to enable data catalogs. So data catalogs have an adoption problem. We've tried it before, it wasn't successful, and now a new data catalog has come in. Why is it so hard to adopt data catalogs?
Because they are not using OvalEdge. We don't have this problem. I'm frankly into this. You use it. It was very hard to adopt rational rows. I don't know. You know the name of this rational rows or something. As soon as Jira come in, it's very easy to adopt. So it was also project management software.
IBM Rational, yes.
Yeah, IBM Rationals and something, right? It was very hard to adopt Siebel where the Salesforce comes in. So it's not the CRM didn't have a value. It's freaking damn data catalog is not rightly designed. Do you come to OvalEdge, you will not have any problem about adoption. It's just they are not well-designed data software. That's pretty much it is.
Yeah, my actually favorite example, that's an interesting point you raised about user experience. If you take care of user experience, then adoption problem goes away. Talking about user experience, my favorite example is in markup language space. When I started my career and started using Unix, we had a markup language called SGML, which was extremely hard to use. And then HTML came out, and it was a piece of cake, and the whole world just adopted it. So markup language, So
even if you think HTML is pretty damn hard.
Okay.
Now HTML has been replaced by editors which can type as what do you call it? Type as you go.
Yeah.
Now that is the right user interface. HTML is not, because why should you program something when you can type and you can put it bold? The word editor have replaced HTML. If you think about it, I can write in. Yeah. So it's evolved. It's evolved.
Yeah,
I agree. I think I still remember that when I was in my college, I used to do BI editor and then used to do the markup into it. It used to look different, and then the HTML came in, and now then this. So it's evolution. Evolution is there.
Yeah. I was working at Oracle in mid-90s. There was not a single book on Oracle that you could buy in the market. There were only manuals. And I had started teaching a class at UC Berkeley on Oracle for DBAs. So I wrote my entire book in VI, marked it up using these tags in VI, the entire book.
Yeah, I wrote my thesis on VI.
Oh, wow. Okay. So talking about user experience and how we are moving away from coding because now we have all these editors, low code, no code. The hottest thing today is large language models, where English becomes a new hottest programming language, and it either generates a code, the right code for you, or just summarizes things in English. What is OvalEdge's strategy for using these foundation models?
So now after saying so much things, the LLM is not a buzzword. It is a reality.
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many buzzwords, we have talked about it, but LLMs are not the buzzword. It's a reality. And it is, we are coming up in probably September, some cool features, I would say September, October timeframe, cool features integrating LLMs in OvalEdge. There is we have identified that LLM is going to be very, very important in data catalog category. We have started investing heavily in this space. We have figured out our strategy to come to market, start providing some information. The first, the whatever we will create, I think that still the LLMs are not fully can recover the humans out of the loop. So whatever we will design, there will be a technical information will come from the catalog. The human information come from users, and then the LLMs will create the magic and put all the information together into it. So that's our strategy to go into using the LLMs to start with. Then we have more and more things planned for using the LLMs in the data catalog, and it is quite bit important for data catalog to use LLMs. It's here. It's a reality.
Very interesting. I did not know that you have your September, October fall release will have strong
LLM capabilities.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is great. So today you have a number of customers who are using OvalEdge. I'm curious, what are the typical use cases? And if you've come across a use case that really surprised you, because customers will take a product and use it in whatever way that makes sense for them. So are there any unexpected use cases of your product?
So I think one of the cool use case which we see is adoption in data engineer for impact analysis. Okay. I think that people do not come for data catalog for doing the regular day-to-day discovery or what is the description of the table is. But really, the data engineer is coming quite a bit to OvalEdge to compare their schema from production to test, right? Which we didn't foresee that much adoption would be there for that. Then the data engineers are coming that because their changes, they upgraded their database. Then after that, they want to understand what is the downstream impact of various reports getting affected, and so that they can make those changes. So those are like quite a bit use cases which we found is very unique, and we did not expect that much adoption to it. Of course, we expect, that's why we built it. We kind of realized the need for it, but adoption is quite healthy for those use cases, which is pretty unique by itself.
One of the common use cases that are starting to happen a lot, especially because you mentioned you're a Snowflake partner, is data sharing, creating exchanges or marketplaces. Are you seeing your product being used in that? Does your data catalog play?
I think that is also a part of our roadmap, that we want to elaborate more on data sharing allow people to share the data and work on it. But we are building for a core framework for data to use actually as an asset, because now when you start interjecting between different companies, you can actually put a financial value to it, and you can treat data as an asset and you can put it on your balance sheet. So we are trying to figure out a way that when you exchange data between companies and you interject with different things, then how can you treat data as an asset and put it on your balance sheet so that your balance sheet looks a little bit healthier. That's the, so say for example, I will elaborate that. Let's say you sold the data for $1 million, right? That means that can you treat this as an asset for $100 million? So because you are generating a rent on that on $1 million, right? That's the something we are figuring. We are working with various accounting firms and convincing the regulators as well to have this kind of understanding so that we can create this kind of ecosystem.
Got it. I'm curious, what is your biggest deployment? Which I know it's a vague question because biggest could mean anything, number of sources, number of volume of data. So I'll let you define that, but I'm just curious, like how big.
So one of the biggest deployment we are doing it is that a very large global consulting firm is trying to use, is going to use OvalEdge for all their consultant developers, everybody, which is around 30,000 or so.
Oh, wow.
For their, everybody will be coming to OvalEdge and requesting, they were searching the data, they were looking the right definition, understanding everything, and able to request access to it, understand the quality of the data, understand ecosystem. So that is the largest deployment we are doing right now. Of course, we have more implementation, but this is one of the largest, I would say.
So here you are defining largest in terms of number of users, and that's about 30,000. Once it's fully live, it's about 30,000.
Yeah, I mean, so right now it started in thousands, but it will go live in production. It's live and already in production, but it will, as the multiple users will start deploying it, it's contract being signed for 30,000 users.
I see. I have a question that I just got reminded of. About a year ago when we connected, you had mentioned you were very passionate about this university idea, like a data governance.
So we have a OvalEdge Academy, which actually explains that how the data governance problems can be solved. It's a step-by-step process. If somebody, most of our customers are pretty new to data governance, and they need some guidance and understanding that how do you solve it. So we have a step-by-step process that they can either use OvalEdge or they can also use spreadsheet to solve the data governance problem. But of course, spreadsheets are not scalable, so they use OvalEdge. So kind of how do you solve the data governance problem? How do you make sure the data which is there at the reporting system are trackable? You can trust it. It's the quality is accurate, and the literacy is there. So we have a very comprehensive courses, curriculum. They can learn it and they can implement by themselves.
Where should they find it, and do they get a certificate or something like that?
Yes, there are 2 certificates are live right now, but the more and more is coming up for getting the certification. It's academy.ovaledge.com.
Academy.ovaledge.com. That is.
Or you can go to OvalEdge and then find Academy, and then you can move from there.
That is great. If you were, so we're coming to an end of our time. I go on for hours. I have so many questions I want to ask you about connectors and all kinds of questions. But I'm going to keep it to only 2 questions. First of all, in the process of bootstrapping this company and running it for 10 years, which is a long time, what are some lessons that you've learned that you can impart to the viewers of how should they build their career and progress it?
So I think bootstrapping the company is a passion that not everybody have. and not everybody should start the company. And if they need advice to start the company, that they must not start the company. I would say that.
But the point is,
because it's a again, it's if you're taking advice, should I start the company? That means you have doubt, and you should not do it. You should be confident enough that you have to do something.
Correct. It's not about starting the company. I think the point you're making is, if you have a passion for whatever it may be, it may not be start a company, it may be to be the best in your space, then that is a must-have. Like, without that passion, it's very...
I think the one thing is needed is the passion, obviously, that you want to do something, what you want to change. Then the thing is that there's a lot of up and downs. You should have that much stamina and energy to handle that ups and downs. If you cannot handle downs, there are a lot of downs, then ups. There are ups is also very high, and I have seen that in a day you have 2 bad news and 2 good news, which makes your day worse, and then you makes it very good. So it's a lot of up and down. You should have that courage to handle it. That is the number one thing. And all the problems can come. And you can, if you are smart enough, of course you are starting, and anything, the people are smart, they can find the solution to the problem. Every problem have a solution. You should be able to put your mind, solve the problem. But the people which basically break people is those down, which come. And if you can handle it, then it is the worthwhile carrying the passion, start the company, or building a career, whatever it is can be. Otherwise, the corporate career jobs are much stable job, better. And I think you have started your own, so you know that as well. It's very easy to be a gardener and then advise people than working your own. It's because you come with the brand value and the security of that brand and assessment. But working for a large corporate is a very good idea, and people should not feel that, oh, I'm not working, I'm not creating value. It's a very good thing, and people should not just think about creating a company because they have suddenly a good idea. Ideas have no value unless you can execute it, and execution requires a lot of ability to handle ups and downs.
Okay, but that's great. Yeah, so persevere, all of you are listening, it's an amazing journey. Just do what you want to do and have that courage to keep going through. Last question. Tell us something interesting about you that the world in general does not know, and with that we'll come to an end.
I don't know. I have so many interesting things that many people do not know. That's the only thing. I have gained 20 pounds in the last 20 weeks or so. So I'm trying to reduce that now, 20 pounds. So next 20 weeks, it should go down.
Other than that,
that is my...
Yeah. What do you like to do in spare time? Not that you have too much, but...
I'm generally a workaholic quite a bit. I work a lot, and I think everybody knows that. And some people think that I do not have eye on certain things. I do not disturb in like day-to-day life. But I also am a very micromanager as well. Although people do not believe that I'm a micromanager, but I am a micromanager.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That secret power, we will end here. Thank you so much. By the way, so many revelations. It was quite fantastic just listening to you and learning about different things. So thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you, Sanjeev. And it's always fun to talk to you. And thank you.
You likewise.